Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, for today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Harbinger's secret weapon in Halo Infinite. So, during the final boss fight of Halo Infinite, the Harbinger will occasionally throw these blue electrical balls at you that lock onto you and are actually quite deadly when they hit you, and can be a little tricky to dodge sometimes, especially when she throws a ton at you. But what those actually are, it's not like she's not throwing something at you, she's actually firing it out of like a little secret weapon. So let's spawn that secret weapon here and see what it looks like. So as you can see, it appears to be a needler. It actually even says like hold E to pick up needler, but it has the icon of a sniper rifle, even though it's a needler model. And in the game files, this weapon is actually called a rising shot, rising_shot to be specific. And well, it does it has an interesting reticle as well, and it does actually fire just fine. And it actually is player usable by default. It's not disabled for players either. Now, when there's no targets to lock on, it just fires in whatever direction you pointed it at before it hits like a certain range and just detonates. You can't injure yourself with it, even if you fire like right at your feet. So that's not an issue there, kind of like the tank cannon. But it is a pretty cool weapon to use, and even though it looks like the energy is draining in the bottom right corner, next to the sniper rifle icon, like it's at 0%, I can still fire it. So it does have infinite ammo, even though it's saying it has finite ammo, which is kind of odd, but yeah, it still works. So if you could somehow get this weapon in-game, which I'm pretty sure is impossible without modding it, like I did, then it would always have infinite ammo no matter what. And it's actually a pretty effective weapon. It locks on to the nearest enemies, which if I'm a little bit close to the Harbinger during this fight, it actually locks onto her instead, even though it can't actually hit her through that shield, but it will still lock onto her. But once I'm close onto other enemies, then it will actually lock onto them just fine. And I'm on easy difficulty right now, but I'm sure on higher difficulties it would still be pretty effective. But the downside to this weapon is that these shots, when you fire it, once they fire, they take like a second or two before like locking onto their target and then moving in that direction. So these are kind of like, this is actually kind of a slow weapon, slow projectiles I should say. And even though like you can fire a lot of them and they do quite a bit of damage, you have to if you're on higher difficulties and you somehow get this weapon, I don't know, maybe people will figure out one day like it's hidden somewhere in the game, or it could be like a secret weapon or something. But you know, as like a player usable weapon, it's one you have to be like careful with using, because enemies can still hit you while the weapons are still, you know, charging up, I guess, and then locking on. But against the Harbinger herself, her own weapon is actually quite effective against her. On easy difficulty, it just completely wrecks her. Much better than any other weapon aside from the tank cannon. The tank cannon is still super effective. But yeah, this is actually a really cool weapon, and just be grateful that like during the actual boss fight she's not firing it like we are, because technically she could rapid fire these bolts at us, but she doesn't. She just fires like almost like one at a time, or at the very least like a few in like rapid succession, but she never spams it at us, which if she did, there'll be like no way to dodge this at all. So yeah, it's a really good thing that she does not spam us with these weapons. Also, as you can see, the range is kind of limited even when it does lock on, so it's kind of a close range weapon really, but still pretty cool weapon, and it can be used against her if you spawn it in by modding for the moment. Who knows, it could be somewhere in the game, like I said. And you could technically carry it with you into into like the regular part of the game. It doesn't disappear afterwards after you beat the boss fight. So it's a pretty neat weapon to be able to use. And if you want to see the weapon used against more enemies, let me know. I mean, I could maybe do some more videos of that. Also, if you're curious what the weapon looks like in third person, as you saw on the ground, it was a needler, and in third person, it is still a needler. I can't melee with it, but I can still shoot it, and that's what it looks like when shooting in third person. You can see, I don't think, the needles don't even go down on the weapon. So the needler is just some kind of placeholder model, I guess, and same with the sniper rifle icon, just a placeholder. It wasn't really meant to be used by players, but it's still pretty interesting that the weapon has a physical model, whereas the tank cannon does not. But yeah, so there you guys have it. That's the Harbinger secret weapon that she uses against you during the boss fight. It's actually pretty interesting that it actually has its own model and weapon icon, sort of, and is player usable by default. But anyways, hopefully you guys found this video to be interesting, and if you did, then as always, make sure to leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all next time. Bye guys!